Today we are making apricot pie filling. We're going to be using up the rest of our fresh, organic, local, beautiful apricots. I feel so excited to be able to cook with these. Let's get started. The first step is to wash and peel the apricots and remove any little bits of stem and then slice. You'll then boil the apricots for 1 minute. And I actually made the mistake of accidentally trying to add too many apricots at a time, which meant that the water took longer to reach a boil, so the apricots did get a little bit mushy. They ended up tasting great, but I did remedy this in a second batch, which I show later in the video, where the slices held together a bit better. But at the end of the day, the taste is what matters. You'll then add 109 grams of clear gel, and then 3.5 cups of white sugar, which is 700 grams. Then you'll add a little over 2 cups of water and stir everything together, and then you'll heat it on medium-high. For the spices, I chose to add half a teaspoon of cinnamon and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. The original recipe called for almond extract, but I do prefer vanilla. Here you'll stir everything up really well. You can see the spoon kind of getting stuck because that sugar really does stick to the bottom of the pot. But here everything is all smoothed out. You'll mix everything up really well and then heat on medium-high. Here we're measuring out the lemon juice, a little under a cup, so 213 grams. And once that mixture has reached a boil, you then add the lemon juice and then you boil for 1 more minute. And make sure you get everything stirred up really well together. After that 1 minute of boiling, you will add the hot apricot slices. And I wish you could be here to smell, because the kitchen was just so fragrant with the fruit and the cinnamon and the vanilla. And you'll just give that a quick, gentle stir. And now we are ready to can. So I have my water bath canner here prepared with clean pint jars. I'm removing one of those carefully with the tongs. And as always, you want to be really careful. In the hot kitchen with hot jars and water splashing, just be careful. You place a wide mouth funnel on the jar, and then you'll scoop in the apricot pie filling until you have reached a 1-inch headspace. And in terms of headspace, you do want to refer to a safe tested recipe, and they'll tell you how much headspace you need. Usually for jams and jellies, it's a 1/4 inch. For vegetables and fruits, it can be 1 inch. If you're doing preserves, it's sometimes 1/2 inch, but always check the recipe. And there's that 1-inch mark at the end of that measuring stick. And I'm very proud of myself. I got it right on the first try. And then you'll wipe the edge of the jar with a damp paper towel. And yeah, practice makes perfect. I find that as the canning season progresses, I kind of find my muscle memory again in terms of finding that headspace. It's all just about practice and repetition. You'll add a jar and a ring and twist just until finger tight. And then use those tongs to gently place that jar into the water bath. And you do want to make sure that your jars are submerged by 1 to 2 inches of water. You'll then want to heat the pot up to boiling. So I will usually bring the heat all the way to high and also add the lid to help retain that heat as the water heats up. And then once the water has reached a boil, you'll process the lids for 30 minutes and then carefully remove the jars. And I learned my lesson from the blueberry pie filling. I'm using paper towels now, just in case. Although this batch didn't spill, but the blueberries did make a bit of a mess. And here, if you look really closely, you can actually see the bubbles coming up. The mixture is still boiling under pressure. And I did capture some jars popping. You'll leave your jars undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours. So here it is the next morning and we're checking the seal. The lid is flat. It has no give. The jar can be lifted by just the lid. So this seal is good. You'll then check the rest of the jars and then wash, dry, and label your jars. You'll want to put the ingredients and the date on the jar, and you'll want to store them without the rings on them. And this is actually the second batch that I made. And here I put the apricot in smaller batches, and so the fruit held together better. It's a learning process. Here I used some of that extra pie filling to make a mini pie, which was just so much fun. I actually made homemade pie crust, and I think this is the 6-inch pie dish. It's the smallest one that came in that set because I had a little bit of leftover apricot pie filling that didn't quite fill up a jar, so I just put it in the fridge. And this is a couple days after canning. I just made a little mini pie. It was super cute. You just put that crust on the bottom, add the pie filling, add the crust on the top, cut some steam vents in there, and then you'll bake it, and look just how beautiful that color is. I served it a la mode. Thank you for watching, and bete avon.